These are our first aid products and our healthcare products that we're currently using. First thing I'm going to mention is products we don't use anymore. Sea salt and antibacterial powder. They used to be advised for cleaning wounds and stopping wounds from getting infected, but most minor wounds will heal on their own. The rat will clean them, and serious wounds you can get antibiotics from the vet. Is probably better than the antibacterial powder. And there's also a new product called the Dermagel, which has replaced that in our first aid box, which I'll show you in a minute. We always use some digital scales. We weigh all baby rats every week, all older rats are weighed every week, and the middle-aged rats get weighed once a month unless we think they're losing weight, and we keep a record of that. We have a glass Pyrex jug, which is for measuring, you can use it for measuring out water if you're doing medicines, but in big quantities. But what we use it for is for sterilising things like the syringes that we use and the bowls and spoons, and you can just put boiling water in there and leave it to cool and sterilise these little syringes and things. We use simple hand wash. We gave up antibacterial hand wash a few years ago because I didn't like the idea that we were putting chemicals that can be absorbed into your skin onto your skin, and the rats would maybe lick it off. So non-perfumed antibacterial, non-antibacterial, just plain pure hand wash with no colours or anything. We haven't noticed that we get sicker, and we haven't noticed that the rats get sick more often by not using, you know, the antibacterial. The most important thing is to wash your hands thoroughly for long enough and use a nail brush to get under your nails, and that will keep your hands clean. We keep sweetie boxes, one for first aid supplies and one for healthcare supplies. And we have an ice cream tub that we keep the mite treatment in, which needs to be kept separate. So the magic gel that we're using is comes in this box. It's called Dermagel. Nice tube. It's all sealed up inside. 24-hour non-stop total repair gel. For all dry skin conditions, irritations, just trying to find it. Moist environment, intensive skin care, bacterial control and protective film effect. Herbal base, non-toxic, smells lovely. One small application a day. Bo's using it for her dry skin and she doesn't have any infection. It's just purely flaky dry skin. And Rosie, we're putting it on her tumour, her mammary tumour, which is just starting to touch the ground to stop the skin getting sore. So that's a really marvellous thing, and £12.50 is a lot, but you only need to use a little bit at one time, and we're going to make sure we never run out of that. That's really useful. We've got a few health supplements we're trying as well. Senior Aid for Bo. She's gone on to soft food. A few of you mentioned that you use rat nuggets and soften them in boiling water and add some olive oil, and we've been doing that for Bo as well. We used to crush them and put them onto food, but she finds it easier to eat when they're softened. And we use a little bit of this red berry malt paste to mix in with it, and it makes it taste nice, and it's a few extra vitamins. We also use this for mixing medicines, and we use bio yogurt for mixing medicines as well. So that's just another little thing that we've been trying. Dr. Rat's Amazing Gloop is new for us as well. Bo wasn't keen, but as soon as we put our greedy rat Blossom down and she started tucking in, then Bo started eating it as well. But what all the rats are loving is Wait Up Baby Berry, which is coconut and berry flavour. Now Bo has put on 10 grams in her first week. Molly's on it as well. She only put on 2 grams, we're not sure why. And Chloe, who's been sick this week and couldn't eat, she's been having this the last couple of days. So we're hoping that's helping her put weight back on. So that's a brilliant little supplement. We do always keep some treaties, little treats and sweeties with the first aid supplies, because that's really handy if you want to distract your rat while you put eye drops in. And there's a little reward for being good. Metacam painkiller. It's licensed for dogs. It comes with a syringe that we don't actually use, the syringe, but we just use a little drop from this. But check with your vet, weigh your rat, work out the dose carefully, give the bottle a really good shake to mix it up before you use it. Not suitable for rats with kidney problems, but useful for arthritis and sick rats who are in pain. And last 6 months, once it's opened, we put the date, 17th September we opened that was 2013, so we put the date on the front of the pack so we know we've got 6 months from that date. So some people put the final date on there and say used by, so it's up to you, whichever way is best for you. We also have eye drops for 2 of our rats. One girl who has itchy eyes has Acula, and Rosie, who has glaucoma, has Trusopt, both human eye drops, but we get a written prescription from our vet which costs about £12, and we take it to the pharmacy, and this is a cheaper way of getting the medicines. Some people send a prescription to online vet stores and get them there, but make sure you use a good, whatever country you're in, one that you can check out that they are giving you the proper medicines. With eye drops, they have to be used within 28 days. Don't touch the top of the bottle onto anything. You have to hold it above the eye and drop the drop in, not actually touch the eye at all. So that's our eye drops. And with the Acula, you can get a herbal eye drop for soothing eyes. So that is something else. You don't have to have a human medicine. We also have at the moment currently tablet antibiotics which have to be split up. You can use a little pill splitter or carefully cut them with a knife, some people do. Pill splitter is probably best. A clean empty jar to put them in. This is one that we got from the vet. And this is a little tube that they also gave us where you can just, it's airtight, so you can put little cut up tablets in there to store them safely. I kept losing those, so we've got the bottle instead. And the Baytril is a liquid one, so that just stays in the bottle. These syringes, this was one when we had to give Baytril in the drinking water, when we had to treat all 14 rats because one died of a rescue rat which had to be put to sleep. She had an infection, we didn't know what was wrong with her, so as a preventive measure we treated all the rats with Baytril in the water, and that was just how much water we had to put with a small tube of I think it was 5 mils of Baytril to 100 mils of water. But the normal size is this 1mm syringe, which your vet will give you for your rats. Try and get a few spare ones because they do get lost or the rats run off with them sometimes. And that's for measuring out your medicines. And some people syringe medicines into their rats. We only do this if the rat is unable to eat because they don't like it, it's not nice, and you have to make sure you syringe into the side of the mouth and not straight down the throat. You can easily choke a rat if you put too much liquid in at once. So we only syringe medicine if the rat is unable to eat. Talking about choking, there's a manoeuvre called the rat fling that you'd be advised to go online. I'll try and find the address and put it up at the end. Where if a rat gets food stuck in its throat and it becomes unconscious, you can do this manoeuvre which will dislodge the food. I've never had to do it. All of my rats that have, only a few have choked on food and they were still breathing and they dislodged the food themselves. But if your rat becomes unconscious, and only if they're unconscious, you can do the rat fling. Make sure that you're in a clear area in your room, no furniture nearby, because some people have performed this manoeuvre and injured their rats or even killed them by hitting them on a piece of heavy furniture. So only if your rat's unconscious and only if you can do it safely, and you know, call your vet if there's a problem. But I mean, you're just going to have to use common sense here and work out if this is something you can do, and hopefully you'll never have to. Anyway, we also keep little bowls, metal spoon for crushing tablets, plastic spoon for mixing medicines. We have our natural vanilla extract that we use for rat introductions. Some people use lavender, but make sure you dilute it or don't get it on the skin because it's very strong. In our first aid box we have cotton buds, we have non-adhesive little sterile dressing pads that can be used to cover wounds. We have co-adhesive bandage, which I'll show you in a minute. Some sharp scissors for cutting dressings and bandages. Tissues. First aid cotton wool, but don't get that in eyes or mouth because it's fibrous. Trimix, which is for a powder. Be very careful because you don't want your rats to breathe this in, but if they were to have a very bad scratch that wouldn't, it's for minor cuts, not for serious wounds, never on serious wounds. But if you cut their nails and you get the quick, it will stop bleeding from there, and it will also coagulate a minor scratch or cut. So just a sprinkle of the powder. You can also get this in stick form, which is handy for doing the nails. That's about £5 for a pot. This is this special bandage. It's brilliant. It only stretches one way, not the other way. Now you could put the dressing onto a wound and you wind that round and it just sticks to itself. It's absolutely brilliant. It also applies a certain amount of pressure which would help to stop bleeding. So definitely these little bandages are worth having. Hopefully you'll never have to use them. And I just wanted to show you the mite treatment. Now we keep vinyl disposable gloves. Just make sure your rats don't get hold of those. But with the mite treatment, always keep it in a separate tub. We keep a little ice cream tub. Keep it away from animals, away from children. Now this Zeno 450 and the 50, if you're only getting 3 tubes, you'll probably get it in a paper envelope, but we buy a box of 9 at a time because we have, quite a few rescue rats. Spot on treatment, prevents and treats common internal and external parasites, small animals and birds. Now it's very good. You work out with your vet how many drops for each animal, weigh your animal, couple of drops on the back. Average 300 gram rat of the strong 450 would just be 3 drops. Be very careful with this stuff. Don't get it on your skin if possible. If you do, wash it off straight away. Just top unscrews. Now we keep an egg cup to sit that in between treating each rat. If there's 2 of you, one of you hold the rat and the other one put the drops on and count. We tend to both count the drops as they go out. Make sure that we've got the right amount of drops on the rat. When you have to dispose of these empty tubes, or if there's any in there especially, wrap them in tissue paper or kitchen paper and put them into the non-recycle bin. Make sure they're not somewhere where children can get hold of them. So that's basically our first aid kit and what we're using at the moment. And next time I'm going to talk about how we actually administer the different medicines to our rats.